Hello Tekken fans, I'm AnimersiveXP. I know that is my real name, but it doesn't matter as I'll talk about my favourite fighting game franchise of all time, Tekken. Yay! Now before I talk about my favourites like Tekken 2 and 5, I gotta start with Tekken 1 for the PlayStation. It's kinda weird as Tekken 2 was my introduction, and now I got to start with the first one that's kinda vanilla. I honestly don't know what to expect. Well, I did play on Tekken 5 but I barely remember any of that. So let's talk about the history of Tekken, or the shorter version of it. Well, firstly, it's a fighting game that was developed and published by Namco. For the European version, it was both Namco and Sony Entertainment Company. It was released in arcades in 1994, then a year later for the PlayStation in 1995. And the director, as well as the designer, was Seiichi Ishii, the person behind Virtua Fighter in 1993, as both of the games are quite similar, as Tekken, in my opinion, being the superior one to experience 3D fighting games. And I stand by that. Mortal Kombat tried it and failed, although I do like the story mode, and many other anime titles that tried 3D for the PlayStation 2. I'm excited. Let's go. And play. Man, this thing is dusty as all hell. And the first thing I will say is that the FMV is a freaking nightmare. Just watch it and you'll see. See? Look at Law. He looks like he's taking the biggest shit of his entire life. You get to see the personalities of those individual characters. I use air quotes because, well, Kazuya punches the fire out of the candle, and that isn't saying much. You also have another opening of Kazuya showing a bunch of moves. Before all of that though, the game starts with a mini game of Gallagher. It's pretty neat. You can skip this when the game finishes loading, and since this game is the first out of the franchise, there isn't much option to play other than arcade mode, 2-player mode and options. The combat is simple and vanilla compared to later on. You can move each limb corresponding with the action button, like left punch is square, right punch is triangle, X is left kick and circle is right kick, and holding certain buttons you can perform grab and unleash a devastating move. However, I don't think you can counter them here, and you can perform special attacks and combos. Every character has a unique playstyle. You can try and juggle combo your opponent. It isn't fluid, but can do massive damage. The movement is sluggish and not, well, you can't do anything other than dash forward and backward once, as sometimes the range can get really annoying when you're trying to hit them, but it misses by an inch. And you can't safely back away like in other game. You can block, but sometimes the attack can hit through them, as I experienced. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Unfortunately, there's no command list like in a sequel, so you have to learn everything off of memory, and the amount of damage this game dishes out is insane. Like 3-hit combo or certain special moves like Kazuya or Heihachi's God Fist, your health is gone down to half. However, thank God you can block the opponent's attack by moving back, basically pressing the back button on the D-pad or joystick. You have the options to choose if you want to fight 2 rounds or 5, and set the time to either 20 minutes or infinite time, as well as choosing which difficulty to play from, easy or ultra hard. Now when I normally used to play Tekken, not this one but Tekken 2 and onwards, I choose to play 1 round, have infinite time and play on easy mode, and it doesn't matter what you choose, the game is still fun. You can win by beating your opponent, whoever has the most health when the time runs out, and draws. No, actually, you still lose to a draw. And this is the only Tekken game to have actual replaces for you to fight in. The stages are unique and cool. Like example, you have King George Island, that's in Antarctica, Angkor Wat is in Cambodia, Sichuan is in China, Fiji is in Republic of Fiji, Windermere is in England, Acropolis is in Greece, Venezia is in Italy, Chiba Marine Stadium and Kyoto is in Japan, and finally Chicago and Monument Valley in America. Hopefully I pronounced those places right. If not, then too bad. The official soundtrack in my opinion is bland. It doesn't have much atmosphere or play with your emotions. Only 2 stages were decent, and that is Fiji and Venezia, or Venice stage, which Fiji being more upbeat and tropical, whereas Venezia reminded me of Altered Beast for the PlayStation 2. However, it does get even better later on, especially Tekken 2 and 5 official soundtrack. My god, they are masterpieces. Now the story of Tekken isn't explained in this one of course, and the other games they get fleshed out and it focuses more on the Mishima and 2 Kazamas. Other characters do get intertwined. For example, Paul, Felix and Kazuya had a draw, and that Paul is out for a rematch, so that's canon. And the rest of the other characters are what if scenarios if they win, so the canon ending in this one is Kazuya's ending. Now I'm going to start with 8 characters, with the first one being Yoshimitsu. I'm going to give a synopsis based on the manual, and my god, look how big this is. You can kill someone with this. My god. An automaton. I thought it was human. An automaton in the form of a ninja swordsman. Nobody knows where Yoshimitsu comes from or why he has entered the tournament. He has been linked with the notorious World Syndicate for thieves. However, this manual gives us height, weight, age and fighting style of the main characters. As for Yoshimitsu, his height is 178 centimeters, his weight is 63 kilograms, his age is unknown, and his fighting style is Manji style Jiu-Jitsu. And every character has a rival in stage 8 before you can fight the main boss of the game, and the rival for Yoshimitsu is Ganryu, a sumo wrestler that has no ace, and it's a bit odd to have him be his rival and not Michelle's. And Heihachi is the final boss of the game, and all I can say is luckily I played on easy. He hits really hard, his grab are unexpected and frustrating to get around, and movement is slow, but I got through it with all 8 base playable characters. Yoshimitsu ending. You see him on a horse galloping to a poor village holding his prize money that he won in a tournament and makes it rain. And my goodness lord, for everything that's holy, close your damn mouth. Next is Nina Williams. Excuse me while I get the Bible out real quick. There. A trained assassin. Nina is fast and deadly. Rumors abound that she's not just a spirit of competition that brings her to the tournament, but who would take a contract out on Heihachi Mishima and why? Her height is 161 centimeters, her weight is 49 kilograms, age is 20, and her fighting style is a mixture of Kopo and Aikido. Her rival for stage 8 is Anna Williams, her sister. It makes sense. Nina's ending. You see Anna walking as she's missing one of her heels. She blames Nina for taking them. Then Nina slaps the shit out of her as Anna is in tears. Then Nina turns around revealing that she was the one that stolen them. What a bitch. Next is martial law. And let me say this, in every fighting game you got to have a Bruce Lee character. It's just mandatory at this point. Now excuse me again as I pull out Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. There you go. And now, Law is a master of martial arts who dreams of opening his own fighting school. He has travelled to the tournament to earn fame and fortune. His height is 179 centimeters, his weight is 69 kilograms, his age is 25, and his fighting style is, well, it's martial arts. His rival is Wang, another old dude that knows martial arts. Law's ending. Now that he won the tournament and earned his prize money, he can finally achieve his dream of opening his very own dojo and teach his young student the arts of backflips.
Next is Paul Phoenix. Don't worry, I got my dictionary with me.
An aggressive and hot-blooded American, Paul lives by his wits working as a bodyguard and street fighter. He previously fought Kazuya to a draw and has entered the tournament to settle the score.
His height is 187 centimeters. His weight is 81 kilograms. He's the same age as Law, which is 25, and his fighting style is a variant of judo.
His rival in stage A is, oh my god, ugh. He looks like a pile of pixelated shit. Ew, he just looks hideous. Paul ending. Now that Paul is the strongest in the universe, wink wink, he tests his strength by breaking glass with his giant fist and breaking bottle with his double axe kick. Then he delivers a death fist to a brick wall with a nice drawing of Kazuya.
Next is Jack. Just Jack.
This military cyborg was originally developed as a shock weapon. Jack's handler sent him to the tournament to get rid of Kazuya when the world got wind of his plan of a world coup d'etat. Nothing but a robot could boast his violent attack and stupendous strength.
His height is 235 centimeters. His weight is 168 kilograms and his age is 3? Does this thing look like a 3-year-old? Because it sure hell doesn't to me. And his fighting style is brute force. I mean, that's original.
His rival in stage A is Prototype Jack, an older model, and he looks like he came straight out of Sid's room in Toy Story. What the hell is this monstrosity? Is this the best scientists can come up with? I'm glad they went with Jack. Anyways, Jack ending. He shares his intel creating more Jacks. Simple and quick.
Next is King, who is one of my favourite characters in Tekken, as I, myself, am a wrestling fan.
A kind young man who turns into an extremely powerful wrestler once he dons on the mask. If he wins the tournament, he tends to spend the prize money on founding an orphanage.
His height is 190 centimeters, his weight is 85 kilograms, he's 30 years old, and his fighting style is wrestling.
And his rival is another awesome looking character, the Black Jaguar Armor King. And King's ending is unique out of the bunch, as you see him walking towards the orphanage that he founded, as the orphan run towards him and give him a warm welcome. And the orphans are real kid with the use of green screen, I presume, and not in-game model, and that is impressive for 1995 standard. See, look at that. How can you not like him? It's a shame what happens in Tekken 3 though. Totally not foreshadowing.
Next is Michelle Chan, and the encyclopedia says,
the mother of this hardy warrior was a Native American. The father was a Hong Kong man murdered by Heihachi's people. Michelle is in the tournament for revenge.
Her height is 163 centimeters, she weighs 53 kilograms, her age is 18, and her fighting style is Chinese fighting arts.
And again, her rival is a confusing one as it's Kunimitsu. I think even the developers got confused as it's weird not putting Yoshi with Kuni, and her ending is that she returns home and runs towards her mother with them thick ass legs.
And lastly, the canon storyline of Kazuya Mishima. This game doesn't flesh out the Mishima saga just yet, since it's the first, so later on down the road, I'll talk about it more in depth with the other Tekken games, and maybe talk about the animated movie as well.
An arrogant loner. Kazuya is the eldest son of Heihachi Mishima, distinguished head of the tournament sponsor, the Mishima Corporation. His appearance in the tournament is just a long-term battle of wills with his father.
His height is 181 centimeters, he weighs 76 kilograms, his age is 26, and his fighting style is Mishima style karate. I wish there was blood type in this, as is more common in Japanese manuals.
His rival for stage 8 is Lee. Not much is known about him until the sequel. And his ending, Kazuya defeats Heihachi, his father, and picks him up gently, walks over the cliff and throws his old ass off. And then the camera pans to Kazuya's face as he gives a genuine creepy smile you'll ever see. The graphics did not age well. Maybe it was spectacular back then, but now it looks awful. Every character hands are humongous. Jack skipped leg day, Kuma looks like a pile of shit, and P-Jack is just something a kid can come up with, and so on. And the sound effects are solid, it feels powerful. And why does Heihachi and Ganryu sound like Jack?
Perfect! KO! KO!
I remember that was putting me off super hard. I'm not used to it, and now I'm still not used to it. But the PlayStation version, you can play sub-bosses like Ganryu, Anna, Wang, Lee, Kuma, P-Jack, Armor King, and Kunimitsu. Unfortunately, they don't have their own ending rather than their counterparts, like Armor King ending is King's and so on for the rest. And there's a secret character in the game that is Devil Kazuya. To unlock him, you need to complete the first level of Galaga. And that's my review of the beautiful franchise Tekken for the PlayStation. Let me just put this down slowly. And in my opinion, skip this one. If graphics is your thing, then of course skip it. If gameplay is your thing, well, you won't get much out of it. Just buy Tekken 5 and you can play all the previous Tekken 1 and 3 on there. But it doesn't have the ending and many other things. It just only have the arcade mode. But that's all the first Tekken game has anyways. And you know what? If you actually find this game very cheap, then I guess buy it for collection purposes. And with that said, I've been AnimersiveXP, and I've talked about pretty much what I want to talk about. Make sure to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.